And good morning to everyone on a Tuesday for Morning Coffee with Marcaida. And today's talk about is fun and games, and all the fun and games that we have learned to come to when you're a child. So one of the things I enjoyed, I grew up in the Philippines, so we had a lot of stuff that I enjoyed over there in terms of fun and games, which was stuff that I learned as a child, so that I developed a lot of things. My cockatiel wants to act like a watchdog against people walk by. So, anyways, in these fun and games, you learn them as a child because it develops certain attributes as a child. Cultural games, cultural dances. What makes us interesting about growing up was I learned them as a child playing these games, doing the cultural dances. But then when I started learning the Filipino martial arts, my teacher started to say, did you know that a lot of our arts were hidden in our dances and in our games? Because a lot of them, the practice of the art was outlawed or looked down upon. Now, I don't know whether that was really true or not, because I know in learning these cultural dances and games, it was never mentioned in my culture, except around the people who actually practice the Filipino martial arts. And I go, well, I grew up over there. How come I never knew this? And it was interesting because my teacher would say, well, if you weren't inducted, you don't need to know. If you weren't in the know, these glasses, imagine these glasses were never given to you so that you could not see it. You were not given the eye for that. So some of the examples he would say was, we have a game called Shatong, which is basically a long and short stick. And you would put it in the ground, you would hit it out there, and you would catch it, and you'd learn how to throw it to hit the stick and get somebody out, or it would be here, or a certain way you would hit it, it would go flipping, and you would hit with that. Well, when I went to an actual picnic, I had these because we practiced a sword and dagger techniques with long and short stick. That when I took it to a Filipino picnic, people go, oh, it's like, you play Shatong. I'm like, whoa, no, it's actually for sword and dagger training. Then it clicked. You see, it teaches you the mechanics of the game, but there's no combat application. Another idea of the games we used to play was hack and sack. So hack and sack, everybody, you're kicking low and everything else, and every part of your leg being the instep, outstep, even the heel, you would do hack and sack in combinations with the leg. He goes, no, that's to teach you low line kicking. I go, really? So the sticks are there to do that for the Shatong, low line kicking. What else is turned into a weapon? Well, the yo-yo. Now, the yo-yo has origins all the way back to Greece and go through China. Then, of course, we're close in Asia and the Philippines. But in the Philippines, they use this as a weapon. So because the weighted end of the rope, you could hit and you can retract. And I remember playing the yo in the Philippines, we'd have all these tricks, but yes, I would like to hit with it. I would like to hit with it. At the same time, you have all these tricks where we would hit, it would wrap around the leg, and you could trip somebody on that. So you go, okay, there's some truth to these. It's like I never thought of it combatively. Another game would be also the trompo, we call it the top. Basically, it's a top like you would have a rope, and right here would be a bottle cap, but it would be faced the other way, so you could have something on over here. You would wrap it, and then you would spin the top, which had a nail in the bottom to sharpen, but you could hit, so you have your trajectory of hitting, or at the same time, you would wrap around the top, throw it up in the air, but you would do a lot of these manipulations, which is like the garrote way of fighting. So there were so many ideas taken from these games that were violent and combative when my teacher told me the application, but never really the idea of combat as a kid. So I'll talk today about the games, and next one I'll talk about the dances. But the games, I go, so why, if these are children's games, are they not really the martial arts? He goes, because the idea is there that when you're a kid, you are immature in your choices of what happens. As the child gets older and older, they become a little bit more mature about the decisions they make. So there's a responsibility not to teach them the combative parts of the art, but you want to teach the attributes. The attributes being, for example, I'll take this. If a child knew automatically that these were weapons of war, the child gets afraid. So they won't play with it because they think it's a weapon of combat. But when they know it's a plaything, It's all the attributes of the movement that you're doing when you're hitting it and backhanding or doing whatever are developed. Same thing with the top, same thing with the yo-yo. The fun part is there when you're keeping it fun. So the child doesn't get afraid of these attributes as they develop them. But as they get more mature and older, and then they start to learn the art, the secrets are revealed to them that they can remember this, or they would use this as, no, it's like when you're playing, takyan, or the sepak takraw, or when you're hitting with the ball. That's how you kick with the instant, because the child already knows, oh yeah, I know, I can relate that. Because when you tell them the martial move, they might not get it, but you relate it to the game, they go, oh, I get it. It's like the way when we played. Exactly. Because a child would have developed all the attributes needed for the combat, but they lack the necessary maturity to actually know and be responsible with those moves. But now, when they're older and more responsible, it's revealed to them the combative moves, because now they have the maturity and responsibility to make sure that these were fun. But now that you've learned it as a form of combat, no longer are you to use it for the wrong reasons. And that was cool because it made me think. When I went home and I brought these ideas to a lot of people who weren't practitioners of the art, they go, no, nonsense. They're never that way. That's not true. I go, that's right. But when my teacher told me, think of it from this particular game, think of it from that kind of game, it clicked on. So there are some truths to these things. And like he said, so I go, how come then nobody knows it back home? Then he would say, because they were never inducted. They were not supposed to know because they're not part of the art. Very cool. So whether these are truths or not, it doesn't matter. It's just a cool thing to know. So think about the different attributes of games that are out there that have some kind of, combative application for the martial arts. Bottom line is, it's all about learning the attributes of your skills and physicality. Now, here's the other thing also. They kept it fun. And I always say everything should be about fun, because violence and all these other things, who cares about that? But if you keep it fun, you win. Because even if you don't learn anything, you win because you had fun. Just a thought. I thought I'd share that with you today. And I'll talk about the dances and cultural dances and how that also were hidden in our combative arts. Doug Marcaida here, Morning Cup of Joe. Have a good day, folks.